Started as an idea. What if we made a Deadpool movie? There was only a few of us back then, and looking back, we had no idea how big it would become. So innocent, and yet the momentum that had started. Yeah, that was not really what we had in mind. Nope, that didn't help things. It was more of a hell no, to be honest. I mean, we eventually stopped asking. We have no idea how that happened, but I promise you, I'm looking into it. Well, once the movie got greenlit, I went on a massive coke bender. So 2016, that's a little hazy for me. They tell me the movie did well, though. 10 years into it, Phase 1 has exceeded our wildest expectations. You know, if you told me back then that one movie would spawn an expansive 2-movie universe, I'd have said that you were crazy. But here we are, with actual actors, a moderate special effects budget, and several low-level X-Men. None of the big ones, though. We gotta save something for Phase 2.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. This will be my new Deadpool 3 video. Hugh Jackman talking more about Wolverine, the plot of the movie, so we'll break it all down. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos because there's a bunch of Deadpool stuff coming up this year. They're going to be working on the movie for most of the year, so we'll get teasers like this for most of this year. The way Marvel's been pitching it is meant to be this big turning point during Marvel Phase 6. It's one of the early Marvel Phase 6 movies now, just based on the way they've shuffled the schedule. And when they talk about tipping point, they're talking mostly about the incursions and the time runs out storyline from the Avengers comics, where you basically lead into Secret Wars. Avengers 5 is going to be Kang Dynasty, and that's mostly the dynasty of Kangs, as we found out in the Ant-Man and the Wasp post-credit scene. And that's going to be a little bit different in that it's mostly going to be the dynasty of Kangs, as this Kang the Conqueror called them during the Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania post-credit scene, like the Council of Kangs. He just called them the dynasty of Kangs. Going after the Avengers and any of the other characters from the multiverse that we've seen, like Clea, for example, that have been able to breach the multiverse, been able to cross between universes. So when they started teasing the idea of incursions during Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, like Reed Richards of the Fantastic Four from the 838 universe, the rest of the Illuminati were getting mad at Doctor Strange for causing incursions along with Scarlet Witch.
An incursion occurs when the boundary between two universes erodes and they collide, destroying one or both.
The tipping point that they're talking about is Deadpool basically doing a version of Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe and just going off the rails with incursions, destroying a bunch of timelines, like you would expect Deadpool to do, given that he's been messing with Cable's time travel device. Just gonna have a wee bit of fun here, go pick up Wolverine on the way and cause a whole bunch of incursions.
Huh?
But one day, your old pal Wade's gonna ask you to get back in the saddle again. And when he does, say yes.
But that was the whole reason why the Dynasty of Kangs, why the Council of Kangs wanted to go after the Avengers, the other regular hero characters, because they had started to do stuff like this, and Deadpool just takes it to the extreme. So Hugh Jackman lately was talking more about the plot, and he started talking about the idea that he'll be playing multiple versions of Wolverine, which is the whole idea that they'll be visiting and destroying, arguably, different timelines that visit different events of the X-Men movies at Fox and the Deadpool movies. So for example, in the Deadpool 2 post-credit scene, you see Deadpool going around with Cable's time travel device messing with timelines, which is basically a setup that they're using for Deadpool 3. That's how it begins, him jumping around timelines, going and killing versions of himself and messing with other timelines. I think this is one of the ways they go back and they continue to make fun of X-Men Wolverine origins.
Don't scratch. Just cleaning up the timelines.
Ryan Reynolds was asked about this in a big live event that he did recently, and he said that abomination is on Hugh Jackman. Like, he's the one to blame for X-Men Wolverine origins. I had nothing to do with that. I just did what I was told. Then cut to the Deadpool 2 post-credit scene, and he goes back and he kills that other version of himself, which they're treating like a variant, basically, like you talk about the Loki series, because the TVA, Miss Minutes, Mobius are supposed to be in Deadpool 3. Obviously, they'd be interested in stopping Deadpool because he's messing with so many timelines. Hopefully, while they're busy messing with all those timelines, he'll get Mobius that jet ski he's wanted for so long. But this is how Hugh Jackman winds up playing multiple versions of Wolverine. They'll probably have a couple funny versions in there, like he talked about 2 versions, but I think the idea is that there'll be multiple versions, like more than just 2. They already kind of teased that idea during the Logan movie, even though that was meant to be later in the timeline, and they're not going to mess with the events of that movie too much. That was what they were talking about in the first teaser for the movie that they dropped, where they're like, we know you have questions.
I had a lot of questions. I'm sure you had a lot of questions, but rest assured, we're going to answer them right now. Like, for example, how is Wolverine alive after Logan?
Logan takes place in 2029, totally separate thing. Logan died in Logan, not touching that.
There's lots of confusion going on here. We're going to be messing with timelines. Don't worry, we're not going to completely erase the events of Logan because it was a great movie. But during that movie, you saw the younger Wolverine clone. This will be the same thing. This time, they'll just be having a little bit more fun, playing a little more comedic way. But this is how you see all the different versions of Wolverine that you've wanted to see from the comics. Like the version in the yellow costume might wind up being a variant. Like they'll give it to us because so many people have been asking for it. Like, please put him in the classic yellow costume from the comics before he completely retires from the role. Remember, Hugh Jackman is coming back as Wolverine during Avengers 6 Secret Wars because there's going to be a lot of multiverse characters from the Fox Marvel movies, from the Sony Marvel movies like Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire's version of Spider-Man.
We should do this again, like, all hang out.
It's nice.
Yeah, for sure, yeah, it's a good idea. I'll just grab your number at the end of the battle.
So it's an easy prediction to make that we will eventually see him in a version of that yellow costume, as well as pulling off a bunch of the Fox Marvel movie cameos with older actors coming back to play their characters again, like OG Fantastic Four actors, more classic X-Men actors coming back.
And several low-level X-Men. None of the big ones, though. We gotta save something for Phase 2.
The movie is meant to be a direct continuation of the events of Deadpool 2, where Deadpool ended the movie taking Cable's time travel device, and they're just going to say that he continued messing with timelines in the Fox Marvel universe until eventually he tries to save a younger Wolverine from dying earlier in his timeline, like before the events of the Logan movie. But while Deadpool is jumping around in his timelines, that's how they feature a lot of the cameos from the old Fox Marvel movies. Like they're supposed to have cameos from the original Fantastic Four movies. I don't know which characters are supposed to come back right now. There have been rumors about Chris Evans coming back as his Johnny Storm. He said previously he would love to do that. It's only coming back as Captain America that he's kind of reticent about. And they'll be saying that Deadpool is jumping around in a timeline that's just specific to the Fox Marvel universe with a bunch of subtle variations in minor timelines within it. So that's how they explain the original Deadpool here and the newer Deadpool, the Old Man Logan Wolverine are all from the same Fox Marvel universe, but within that, they come from different timelines. But that's why I've been making jokes about Deadpool kills the Fox Marvel universe, because Kevin Feige recasting a lot of the X-Men, the Fantastic Four characters inside the MCU, so what better way to give the Fox Marvel movies a big send-off and honor them and make fun of them a lot, canonizing them through the multiverse just like they did with Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man movies, Andrew Garfield's Amazing Spider-Man movies, and Spider-Man No Way Home, and then proceed to do a version of Deadpool kills the Marvel universe, but just have him destroy or mess with the Fox Marvel universe. I've done a couple videos about how Deadpool 3 is going to be a huge crossover with the Loki series because the TVA, Mobius, and Miss Minutes are going to be big characters in the movie. Really hoping Deadpool helps Mobius get that jet ski. They also just cast the main villain for Deadpool 3, and it's going to be Emma Corrin from The Crown, who most of you remember played a version of Diana Spencer. They haven't said which character she's playing, but given the tone and the vibe of the character she is known for playing the different types of characters she's played, it seems like the character she'll play will be a little more subtle as opposed to the tone and the vibe of the way Ryan Reynolds performs Deadpool as this super over-the-top character, and Hugh Jackman plays Wolverine as this way more hardcore type of character. Right now, the leading theories for that villain character are Typhoid Mary and Madcap, who are big Deadpool villains, but I don't think they're very likely. We're talking about a big multiverse, time runs out, lead up to Avengers 5 Kang Dynasty kind of villain. So the leading theories right now are actually Lady Death, which I think is more likely given Death's role in the other major Marvel stories like the Thanos Infinity Gauntlet storyline. They didn't really include the Death character during the Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame movies. Lady Death is also a huge figure in Deadpool's past. She's the cosmic entity Death. She can't really be killed the same way you kill characters like Thanos. She's the personification of all death in the multiverse. Like there's only one death for the entire multiverse. They teased the introduction of some of the cosmic entities during Thor Love and Thunder. The Death character was also featured during that as one of the statues, but you didn't actually see a living version of Death. It was just meant to be a representation of Death, not the actual Death character. But at least they're starting to get into that really weird, really high level stuff. The other possibility, and this is also a little more likely, is that she's playing a Deadpool variant and she's playing Lady Deadpool from the comics, who has been featured a lot before, like in the Deadpool core. She's from another universe, her name is Wanda Wilson, and all her villains, her adventures are just meant to be twists on the main version of Deadpool and his history. And when I mentioned the Deadpool core, they could have jokes or references about that at some point during the movie because this is meant to be a multiverse movie, and you have this idea of a bunch of Deadpool variants from across the multiverse all forming a team together. They're actually already using that idea during Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse with Spider-Man 2099 putting together a multiverse team of Spider-Men. So let me know in the comments, which Deadpool 3 villain do you think Emma Corrin is going to play? Big reminder, my Mandalorian Season 3 Episode 4 video will post this week. Click here for that. I'll update the link as soon as I post it. And click here for that new Justice League Darkseid Returns trailer that Zack Snyder just posted. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay safe and maximum effort.